What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to talk about Warzone, and what is going on with Warzone right now, why I haven't been uploading too much Warzone content. I've been mixing a little bit in here or there, but I know a ton of you guys are looking for more Warzone content from me, and even though Warzone content is doing so much better than Cold War multiplayer content at this point on YouTube, and my channel is definitely not reaching its full potential because I'm not uploading Warzone, in Warzone's current state, I just don't want to play it. I don't enjoy it at all right now. And this is why the gameplay you're going to be watching in the background is just going to be really old Warzone gameplay that I have left over on my hard drive, because honestly, I don't even feel like hopping on and getting a gameplay for this commentary in the game's current state. And it's really frustrating because I like Warzone. At its core, I really like Warzone as a battle royale game. I had a ton of fun with it when it first came out, all the way up until Cold War released. But especially since that Cold War integration that happened a few weeks back, I've just had very little interest in playing it, and it's due to a pretty big handful of issues that are in Warzone currently, many of which it really seems like should be easy fixes. Or at least easy fixes relative to how successful this game is. Now, I realize today's video is going to be very similar to a video that Drifter uploaded, I believe it was yesterday. And yes, his video absolutely inspired me to make this video as well, because I have had a lot of people wondering why I'm not making more Warzone content, why I'm not covering it as much. And I do agree with pretty much everything he said in his video, and I'm going to be repeating that in today's video. But another thing that just came up recently is apparently the infinite stim glitch is back, and also there is a new invisibility glitch in Warzone as well that's active. And those are really just the tip of the iceberg, which is crazy because those are absolutely like game-breaking issues that are extremely serious, but even before these new glitches came out, I still wasn't all that interested in playing Warzone. Another big issue that I've noticed ever since the Cold War integration is anytime I play Warzone now, my ping is higher than it ever was before Cold War launched. Previously with Warzone, when I was playing from my Canada location where I'm at right now, my ping would generally be somewhere around 60 milliseconds. That was about as good as it got, and that's a fairly reasonable connection, at least for me. I've come to get used to it. It's really not all that bad playing on a 60 ping. It's a pretty decent connection. However, lately, anytime I've tried Warzone, the best connection that I've been able to get is a 90 ping. Now, I know I'm going to get a ton of comments saying, oh, I wish I had a 90 ping. I play on a much higher ping all the time. But that's not the point. The point of this is I used to be able to get a much noticeably better ping, but apparently something has changed and now I can no longer get that ping. As far as I'm aware, Warzone is still an incredibly popular and successful game, so why are the connections getting worse, at least for me? I'm not saying they're going to be getting worse for absolutely everybody out there, but for me, in the region that I play in, for some reason, it's like a switch was flipped, and now I have an extra 30 milliseconds of latency I have to deal with. And it's very noticeable as well. I've been getting a lot of situations where I'm using the exact same gun as the enemy player, I'm hitting all my shots, I shoot first, I land all my bullets, and I still lose that gunfight without the enemy hitting headshots. And in a game mode where you only have that one life, that's really off-putting when you're consistently getting killed in situations where you really truly feel you played the situation right, you hit your shots, and you should have won, but since you have a worse connection, you end up losing that fight. So that right there is one of the reasons I haven't been playing Warzone as much, but honestly, that's one of the more minor reasons even. If it wasn't for everything else that I'm going to be talking about in this video, I could probably just suck it up and play with that extra bit of latency and still have a generally enjoyable experience. So let's move on to the next reason, and this is probably the biggest reason at this point that I don't really feel like playing Warzone. This is the current meta of the game, which is still the DMR, or sometimes you see a Type 63, but generally it's going to be the DMR for most situations, and then you've got like the MAC-10 and dual Renettis up close. I don't really care too much about those up close guns. I guess the dual Renettis are still very powerful, even the single Renetti is very powerful. But it's mainly that DMR meta, because when it comes to those close quarters guns, you can always just try to avoid the close quarters fights once you're at the stage in the game where people have their loadouts. By that time, you should have your own loadout, and you can just stay out of buildings to avoid getting melted by those guns. But when it comes to the DMR, there's no situations where you can avoid being melted by a DMR or a Type 63. Now yes, they did nerf those guns last week in the headshot damage department, which was great. That was one of the biggest things I was asking for, was a headshot nerf. But with this, they also pretty much buffed the recoil when they were supposed to be nerfing it. At least based on my testing, it appears they have buffed the recoil. And therefore, now that I've actually put a little bit of time into it and tried to play it a bit more since that nerf, I still don't want to be playing against DMRs and Type 63s. And I know I could be using a DMR and a Type 63 as well, of course, but the thing that I really don't like about this meta is just how fast the time to kill is now, even when you have full armor equipped. I've said this on my stream several times before, and I'll say it again here. It kind of feels like we're playing a hardcore version of Warzone right now with how fast you're dying to DMRs. And I just have no interest in that. When you have only one life, I like it when there are actual gunfights that take a little bit of time and take a little bit of skill and maneuvering and everything in order to finish those fights, rather than basically just getting insta-melted at any range before you can even realize that you're being shot at. Next up, another reason I've been pretty demotivated, at least to make content about Warzone, is how they've integrated the Cold War attachments into Warzone on the guns. These attachments are all over the place. In many cases, they're doing the exact opposite of what they state they're doing, or sometimes they literally do nothing for you, like they're just a waste of space. And as far as I can tell, at least with the testing I've done, there are some attachments that literally do nothing. They don't change your gun at all. And don't get me wrong, as a content creator that often breaks that stuff down, it's kind of nice to run into the odd situation where something like that happens, because then I'm able to find that and share it with the community, and videos like that usually do very, very well. However, at this point, with having almost every attachment from Cold War doing something different from what it's stated to be doing, it's just so overwhelming to the point where I don't even feel there's a reason to be covering it. There is just too much wrong with how they've integrated the attachments into Warzone. To top that off, it's been recently discovered that some of the blueprints that are in the game actually have better stats than the base version of the gun, which isn't supposed to be the case at all. Blueprints are supposed to have the exact same base stats, they're supposed to be cosmetic only, but that's just not the case with some of the blueprints in the game. So basically, ever since that Cold War integration, there have just been so many new problems introduced with weapon balancing and attachment balancing that have really thrown a wrench in my overall enjoyment of Warzone. And honestly, I really hope they're taking a serious look at doing a complete overhaul, at least on the attachments, as well as, of course, the weapon balancing, like actually nerf the recoil on the DMR and the Type 63 by a noticeable degree. And also with the attachments, either adjust the stats of the attachments to match the descriptions, or adjust the descriptions to match what the attachments are actually doing. I really don't want to be guessing when I put an attachment on a gun. I don't want to be guessing what that attachment is going to be doing to my gun. Is it going to make it better in the area where I want to make it better, or is it actually making it worse in that area? Since so many of the attachments on the Cold War guns are doing something completely different from what they're supposed to be doing, it's just completely overwhelming, and it just makes me not want to play at all. The next reason I've got on my list, this is something I've complained about since Warzone has launched basically, and nothing has changed, so I'm not going to talk about it for too long because it's not likely to change again, but this is anti-cheat, or lack thereof. Whatever anti-cheat system they're using, if they are even using an anti-cheat system, it doesn't appear to be doing its job properly, especially not for a game that's this big and successful and that has this many resources at their disposal. Now, I'm not going to rant and ramble about this for too long because I've done that a ton in the past and it doesn't change anything, but it is worth mentioning in this video, we really need a better anti-cheat system. But finally for this video, there's another reason that I haven't really had a whole lot of motivation to play and stream Warzone lately, and this is the somewhat recent discovery of ways that many people are apparently exploiting the matchmaking system. And I guess also the emergence of all these new websites that are pulling data from the API and they can show you the exact stats of all the players in your lobby in real time, even with some of them. And with these ones, I don't blame the websites at all. I think these are actually great tools, and it's nice that the community can really have their eyes open to just how this skill-based matchmaking system is working. It's more so that these websites have reminded me just how frustrating the skill-based matchmaking system is, and how some people are essentially playing a completely different game compared to others. When you have a look at the website SBMM Warzone, for instance, this one's actually pretty cool because it gives a tier ranking to the lobby that you're in. Like each match that you play, it'll show whether it's like a bronze match with really low skilled players, or gold, or silver, or platinum. I don't really know all the rankings that they have. But with this, the difference between a diamond lobby and a bronze lobby is absolutely night and day. You're essentially playing a different game at that point. In a diamond lobby, you have to be 100% on point with things. And it's like you're playing in a tournament with every gunfight you get into. Whereas in a bronze lobby, it's like you're playing against bots that don't even know what's going on and barely know how to handle a controller. Now, I wouldn't be so frustrated by this if the game itself actually gave us these ranks, and if we could see in-game that yes, we are a diamond player and we're playing in diamond lobbies. At that point, yeah, I would fully expect that I'm playing a different game than somebody that's ranked as a bronze playing in bronze lobbies. The problem is there's nothing in game that shows that, and therefore there's nothing for you to work toward. You can't work toward becoming a diamond player and then having that sense of accomplishment when you earn that diamond ranking in game, because it's all hidden in the background. As far as a bronze player is concerned, they're playing the same game as a top tier pro player. Which in some cases they are, because that top tier pro player is actually exploiting the matchmaking and playing in those bronze lobbies. So then when I play the game and I'm not exploiting the matchmaking, it's really discouraging thinking, man, that top tier player is just so far ahead of me. They're getting 100 kills in a game. I must really suck because I'm not able to get 100 kills in a game. I'm not even able to get anywhere close to 100 kills in a game. So I just feel like the entire competitive integrity of Warzone and the sense of accomplishment in Warzone is just non-existent in the game's current state, and these new websites that have been popping up are a great reminder of this. If they insist on having a skill-based matchmaking system like this that is strict enough that one lobby is just a night and day difference from another, then there should be ranks and rewards attached to this. There should be a reward system that encourages players to improve at the game and grind their way up the ranks, and they should be rewarded when they do grind their way up the ranks. It should feel really good to be a good player or to improve your skills at the game and get to a certain point. You should feel rewarded for that, either in the gameplay without skill-based matchmaking so that your gameplay results actually improve and you get wins far more often and you're getting way more kills in a game and stuff than you used to be able to get. Or if they insist on having this strict skill-based matchmaking, then you should at least have a rank attached to that and something that you can grind toward, an elo score, a ranking that you can show off and that you feel accomplished in earning. Also, a win in a top-tier lobby should count for more than a win in a bottom-tier lobby. And that should be reflected somewhere in-game, but at this point, it isn't. So yeah, that pretty much covers it for the primary reasons that I haven't really been touching Warzone too much lately. I do want to make more Warzone content, and I am planning on it once we get some more patches. I know we're getting that mid-season update for Cold War this week. I hope we also get a title update for Warzone that addresses many of the issues I mentioned in today's video. I know not all of them will be addressed, obviously. But I am hoping they can get on top of some of these things so that I can enjoy playing Warzone again and making content on Warzone, because I really want to do that, because I know a lot of you guys, that's what you're here for, and you aren't interested so much in Cold War's multiplayer. But one last thought to wrap this up. Again, I just want to mirror what Drifter said in his video yesterday, because this is something I have said on stream in the past as well, and I fully stand behind this. I just can't believe how much Activision is letting Warzone slide at the moment. Warzone is an incredibly successful game. This is their flagship title as far as I'm aware right now, and it's their big moneymaker. This is bringing in literally billions of dollars for them. So when huge issues like this pop up, they should be handled immediately, or at the very least, they should have a really good open line of communication, and they should be talking us through all the things they're working on right now. They should be providing reassurances to the community that yes, these are issues, they are aware of them, they're working on them, and we can expect a patch at some point within the next week or something. I get that they don't like sharing exact dates for patches and stuff, because then if a delay hits and they miss that mark, then the community will be outraged at them. But a rough timeline of things, or at least an acknowledgement that they are working on things and they're aware of the fact, for instance, that attachments on Cold War guns are doing the complete opposite of what they're supposed to be doing. That communication, in my mind, is the least they could do for a game that's this big and lucrative for them. I honestly feel at this point they're becoming very complacent because there aren't really any direct competitors that are a threat to them right now. Sure, you've got Apex and Fortnite, but those are kind of old news at this point. I don't think they're drawing too many people away from Warzone, and there hasn't really been anything new that's come out that directly competes with Warzone. And they know that even if they don't do anything, they're going to maintain an amazing player base anyway, because those players don't really have any viable alternatives at this point. I think if they don't wake up here and start making big changes to how they're handling things with Warzone, the moment a good competitor comes around, they're going to be in for a very rude awakening. And with that, that pretty much wraps up my current thoughts on the state of Warzone, and I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about the current state of Warzone? Are you generally happy with it? Are you totally fine with the DMR meta, for instance? Or are you kind of in the same boat as me and you've just sort of lost interest in playing it until something big changes? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.